Hi, I'm Kevin Trainer, and I'm here to welcome you to the course IS430 um, Foundations Information Processing in the summer of 2023. And I'm going to be teaching this, co-teaching this with Jenna Kim, who's here with me, and we're going to be walking you through things about the course. And we'll get to more introductions in a minute. But before we do that, let me share my screen here and we'll talk about what's on the agenda for today. Okay? So we'll do instructor introductions. Then I'm going to talk about a few important facts about the course, kind of highlights. Okay. Then I'm going to review our Canvas site with you. Jenna's going to review the weekly schedule, and then I'm going to review the syllabus. I'm just going to point out that we're just going to give you the highlights of the syllabus because the syllabus is long. And while you're responsible for knowing everything that's on it, you probably don't want us to talk about every word that's on it, or we'll be here for a very long time. Okay? That brings us to instructor introductions. So we're going to introduce ourselves a bit, and I'm going to stop sharing so you can see us a little better, and we're going to begin with Jenna. Take it away, Jenna.
Thanks, Kevin. Hi, everyone. My name is Jenna, and I'm your co-instructor in this course throughout this semester. I'm a PhD student at the iSchool, and my research interests lie on NLP, on natural language processing, specifically focusing on applying machine learning and deep learning techniques on name entity disambiguation. Kevin and I are so glad to have you all here, and we hope that you will have so much fun while you're learning Python programming language and improving your coding skill. Back to you, Kevin.
Thank you. Jenna and I have been teaching this course together, where I've been the instructor and she's been the TA all year long. So we did it in the fall and we did it in the spring, and um, so this co-teaching in the summer is a formalization of that, in which Jen is going to do a little bit more of the teaching, and I'm going to do a little bit less. But it, it's not like we're new to this. We've been doing it all year long, and it's been working very well. Um, I've been at the iSchool for 15 years now. I started out as an adjunct, and I've been full time on staff here for, I guess this is the beginning of my, no, this is the end of my third year. Um, I teach courses that are mostly hands on IT related courses. I've been teaching this particular course for about 5 or 6 years. It's a lot of fun. Um, it's a chance to learn and do programming. We really learn by doing, and this is a really fun activity for me. So I really, it's an opportunity for me to share something I love and really enjoy doing with you. Um, in a way that hopefully you'll see how you can come to love it and really enjoy doing it as well. Okay, that's all the introduction we're doing. We could talk forever. We'll be doing introductions in class on week one, where we're going to meet you and learn more about you, and you might learn more about us there too. Okay, so let's go back to our agenda and some screen sharing. Okay, that's our introductions. And some important facts about the course. Okay. This is a first course in programming using Python, and in particular Python 3. Now, Python 3 is really a Python these days. There was a Python 2, which is all but dead. Um, uh, and so Python, real Python, is Python 3, and that's what we use. The approach that we use in the course uses this thing that you're probably familiar with already. It's called the flipped classroom model. So we don't lecture in class, okay? We record the lectures and, we're recording this. Instead, in class, we do things that are more interactive. So, one thing that we do is we discuss the solutions uh, to the homework assignments. And we find out that not everybody did it exactly the same way. And maybe there's not only one right solution. Um, and that turns out to be kind of fun, and you learn a lot by seeing what other people did, not just what the instructor did or what you did. Um, we discussed a lot of programming topics. We do some in class coding and things like that where we work in groups. So our time in class is not lecture based. Um, in the summer, this course it can be challenging in terms of managing your time because we're taking a course that in the normal semester is going to fit into a 16-week semester, and we're doing it in 12. Okay, now uh, 16 weeks is an exaggeration because we always have one holiday week, so we're really squeezing 15 into 12. But that's in a hands-on course. It's a fair amount of acceleration, and so I can tell you, I've been teaching this in the summer. Well, I've been teaching in the summer for 15 years, and these classes are very doable in the time frame that we're doing them. But you have to invest the time and you have to apply yourself. It's a hands-on coding course where you learn by doing. You'll learn a lot of things from the book and you'll learn a lot of things from the lecture. But the real question, I often humorously will say, I don't care what you know, I care what you can do. Okay? So this isn't going to be a course where you memorize a lot of things um, so that you can be, witty at cocktail parties. This is where you learn how to design and write programs so that when you're in your day job, you can design and write programs. Um, I think the current version of the syllabus says that there are 15 coding assignments in a final project. There are really only 14 coding assignments in a final project. We combined two, and that hasn't made its way to the syllabus quite yet. Um, there are some people who are taking this course for 2 credits, in which case you'll do the coding assignments but not the final project. If you're taking it for 4 credits, you'll be doing the coding assignments and the final project. Um, I think the best deal for investment in your time and learning the most is to take a class for 4 credits and to do the final project. And we'll talk about that when we get to the syllabus. Um, uh, this is a class where you learn by following the leader. And so almost every exercise that we do for the coding assignments has a tutorial video where you see us solve a similar problem. We design and write a similar program, not the same one that you're going to do. So we don't leave you in this situation where you have to guess about how you would solve this kind of problem or what features we might want you to use. Okay? You just have to come to understand what we've done and be able to demonstrate that you can do it yourself. Uh, so it makes the learning a lot easier, uh, appropriately easier, I would say. And there's no kind of puzzling over, I wonder how a programmer would solve this. We show you how they solve this, and then you do it yourself. Um, I mentioned that there's a pretty significant investment in time, especially in the summer when we're going faster. Um, but if you're prepared to spend the time and to do the work, you'll do very well. People usually get very favorable grades in this course, regardless of their background, whether they've done any coding at all before or not. Uh, we want you to work independently. And that means we want you to create your own code without copying or joint authorship. Okay? So we're very sensitive to potential um, uh, plagiarism. Okay? And when we give you code and we show you code, we tell you what you're free to copy. Generally speaking, all the things that we include in the tutorial are things that you can copy, you can emulate. Okay. Um, but we don't want you to copy each other's work. We don't want you to copy solutions from prior semesters. And we don't want you to work jointly and then both hand in the same work. Okay, there'll be plenty of opportunities for joint coding in class exercises that we do because joint coding is a real thing and it's a good deal. And there are things to be learned from it. But the coding assignments in the final project are not meant to be joint exercises, they're all individual. So I can't emphasize enough at how doable this all is, regardless of your background, provided that you'll put the time in and you'll come to work with us. You'll see, we'll be talking about these online labs that we're going to have, where you can come to this online lab time with big problems and we'll help you solve them. So, um, you won't be working completely on your own. So, regardless of your background or how challenging this might be for you, I think this is a great opportunity to succeed. So, that's the facts about the course. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to look at the Canvas site, and let me find my way to that. I still have the sites up for the spring, so it can be kind of challenging. So here's our Canvas site, and it may be organized a little differently than you're used to. Um, this particular format is called what is it called? Oh, it's called the modules format. And it doesn't use the template that's given to instructors by the iSchool. And I think there's a lot of interesting information on that template, but it's very hard to find your way to it. And uh, because I find it too hard to find my way to information, I don't want to subject you to it. The top of the site are the top three announcements that we've had. If you need to see more of them, you can click on announcements. And then we have a module here. Each of these boxes is a module in Canvas terms. Um, we have the number and the name of the course, and it meets now. It says here that we meet Thursday evenings online. I have a link to the syllabus. Uh, that always will be current. So when we update the syllabus, like I said, we had 14 coding assignments, and the syllabus says that we have more. Well, when we update that, we're going to change. Uh, uh, we're going to replace the file that this link points to. So this link will always point to the current syllabus. And we'll take a look at the syllabus in a couple of minutes. And then we have the weekly schedule, and let's just go take a look at that a second. Jenna's going to walk you through that. This is a list of the content that we're going to cover and the meetings that we're going to have and the assignments that are due in each of the weeks of the course. Okay? And this is not on Canvas. There are similar features available on Canvas, but uh, I don't find them as helpful as this application that I created a long time ago called Weekly Schedule. And so for that schedule information, the definitive uh, authoritative expression of what we're doing on a particular week or day is whatever's in the weekly schedule. And again, that might change from time to time. And when we change content, either in the weekly schedule or on Canvas, what I typically do is make an announcement. Okay. And Jenna, the same thing. We're going to be sharing things. So it might be an announcement for me, it might be an announcement from Jenna, but you'll find out when we change things. There's this thing here about using the university self-service application to change your name. Okay, it'll change your name in Zoom, it'll change your name in Canvas. It gives you your opportunity to use your preferred name, and it gives us the opportunity to try to call you what you want to be called. So please do this as soon as you can if you haven't done it already. It's a persistent thing, so if you did it for another course, well, it's still there. Okay. Um, uh, Getting help in iSchool quick links. This is what I've kept of the standard site that comes from the iSchool. So these are all resources that you might find important, and I put them on a page so you can find your way to them. Open discussion forum. So we have an open discussion forum, and it's largely for you to use with other students in the class. Uh, uh, Jenna and I and our TA, with we're hoping to get, cross our fingers, Jenna, uh, we'll monitor this from time to time, but we have a way for you to communicate with us that's it's called the service desk, and it's kind of a help desk. So if you need something from us, posting in the open discussion forum is not the way to get that, because we won't be monitoring it every day, and there's not a sense of urgency about that. But if you want to get some helpful ideas from your peers, this is a great way to do it. Okay, so we have it here, but with the caveat that if you need something urgently from us, don't be posting here. Zoom meetings. If you go to that link right now, I haven't put the calendar up yet. I'll have it up by Thursday night. there'll be a link here for every class session that we have, including the first one on Thursday, May 18th. And there'll be a link here for each of the online lab sessions that we're going to have. I just haven't had the time to create these in Zoom quite yet. This time between the two semesters, between the spring and the summer, when you're teaching a 12-week um, full summer course, is very short. And it's very hard to get everything up on time. And to the extent that anything's been late, my apologies, because I know I've been trying my best, and I know that Jenna always does. Um, so those will be there soon, and when they're up, we'll send an announcement so that you know they're there. Uh, Now there's a module for contact us. So how do you get in touch with the people from the course? Well, the first page is instructor and TA details. Uh, the instructors are Jenna and I. Uh, Both Jenna and I have offices somewhere in the iSchool, but we're definitely not going to be in them this summer. And we don't have conventional open office hours times, but we do have these online labs, okay? And one of us or both of us will be at the online labs. And we do a lab at the end of each normal class. Because of the way we flip the class, they don't always go for 2 hours, okay? So there are two times during the week where you can get help from us, okay? And if you need other help from us, well, we have this help desk thing where you can post and you can ask for help on that, and we're pretty good at giving help on that. Or you can ask for some sort of individual time to meet on Zoom, and we do that from time to time too. We're hoping to get a TA. We don't have one assigned yet, but we're still optimistic for that. Now, this help desky thing is called the service desk. Why is it called a service desk? Well, because it's implemented with a product in which it's called a service desk. It's implemented with uh, uh, the Atlassian software service desk management application. Um, that's explained here a little bit, okay? There's a link to a service desk introduction page where it's explained even further. And then each course has its own project on the service desk system. And the link um, to these can always be found on this introduction page. So the link for ours is this top one, Summer 2023 IS430. Okay. Um, the other thing is that here's a direct link to the service desk for this course. And when you go to it and you're logged in, this is what it looks like. Okay, and I've got a whole video orienting you to how it works and how to get signed up for it. Okay, so I'm not going to duplicate that here, but that's available. Okay, so let's go back up. Where are we? Okay, so here's the tutorial uh, video on how to use the service desk for this course. Here are the slides that I use in it. And there's also another video here on how to play my videos. All right, that's kind of meta. Now, you may have realized that I have a pretty slow presentation style. And that's because of the way I speak and some issues with that. So many people find it helpful to speed up the playback of the videos that I record, um, depending upon what activity they do and what their sensibilities are. So that's what this how to play my videos is all about. So I encourage you to play that before you play the video. Um, we have all these assignments that are due. Okay. When you go to your copy of the when you go to your copy of the page, you're not going to see these quite yet because I need to change the due dates of all of these. These have the due dates from the spring semester. Okay, but and we need to add two more assignments because we have two new assignments. And then we've got the final project. So these will all be up soon and they'll have the proper dates. Okay. And then um, before we get to class, or right as we get to class, I'm going to be posting the official instructor solution to each assignment. So the first thing that we do during class is we're going to break out into breakout groups and we're going to compare our code. And one of the things that you're going to compare it to is my official or Jenna's official class solution. But the other thing you're going to do is you're going to talk among the people in your breakout group and find out what they did. And you're going to see things that people tried that you never even thought of. And the instructor didn't even think of. And we're going to be trying to decide what differences are favorable, which ones are unfavorable. We probably want to do that, and which ones are a matter of style. You know, they're not good or bad. They're just different. Okay, and that's really part of understanding programming. We don't want it to only teach you to program like us. Okay, although we do think we have a lot of good practices that you ought to be thinking about. But we want you to come out of the course being a kind of a thoughtful programmer about your code and our code and everybody else's. That's a good part of being a seasoned programmer. Okay, so each week we'll be turning on one of these right before class and you'll actually see the solutions. Okay, so I believe that's it for I believe that's it for this Canvas site. So that brings us to the next part, which is reviewing the weekly schedule, and that's going to be Jenna. So I'm going to stop sharing and turn it over to Jenna. Here you go.
Thanks, Kevin. Okay, I'm gonna start sharing my screen. Can you see my screen?
Yes, we can. It looks great, Jenna.
Okay. So this summer we have 12 weeks, as Kevin mentioned earlier. So I'm gonna walk you through each week and then briefly explain what the contents are. Okay. So first week, uh, we don't have a lab meeting on Monday, which is today, and then because it's the first week, and then we don't have any weekly assignment. And Thursday we're gonna have first class at 6 o'clock, and then we're gonna have some reviews of syllabus, and then weekly schedule, and then Kevin and I will introduce ourselves, and then you also need to introduce yourself to the classmates. So you can read this description here and then think about what you will tell about yourself for 1 or 2 minutes. And then next week, We have a lab session every Monday afternoon at 3 to 4. So if you have any questions or comments, and you can just join us, and you don't have any appointment, you don't have to make any appointment. You can just stop by. Um, and Thursday, we will have some activities. But before that, you should post the greeting to Canvas, and then you can earn 10 participation points. So remember, you have to submit this greeting post within the first 2 weeks to get the full points. And here you should install some software to get your assignment done. So please read these descriptions here. And then you need to install Anaconda and PyCharm. And then you should get them ready before you work on the first assignment. So if you have any issues or problems while installing the software, please let us know. We are sending a request through the service desk or the online lab session. Okay, and then the Thursday on May 25th, and you're gonna have some topics like computers and programs, and writing simple programs, and computing with numbers. So we want you to read required text before you come to class, so you can understand the contents better, and then you can follow up what Kevin and I explain about. And you can watch some videos here for each chapter. And we have other resources for these topics, so you can have better understanding. And remember, we have a lab meeting on Sunday for the next week because the next Monday is the holiday, so we don't hold any lab session here. So Sunday, we have a lab session at 9 a.m. So if you have a questions, then please feel free to come by. Okay, go to the week 3. So as I said, no online lab session on this Monday due to Memorial Day. And on June 1st, we're gonna talk about this coding assignment. We're gonna review the coding assignment solutions Kevin and I will release throughout the week. So please remember to submit all the assignments before the beginning of each course. So we can have a good grading for you guys. And this day, we're going to talk about the solutions the prior week. And then the topic for this week is object-oriented topics, missed by skipping cell 3 and 4, chapter 4. And then you're going to learn about sequence, which are strings, lists, and files. And this week's assignment is chapter 5, so you can see the slides here, and then remember to see the lecture video, which is beyond the text. This is not covered by textbook, so you may want to watch this video to start work on the assignments. Okay. And then week 4, we'll have optional lab meeting on Monday afternoon at 3. And this week, you're going to have a review of the solution for chapter 5. And Thursday night, you're going to learn about how to define functions. And then you also work on the decision structures, which are very important components of Python programming. And there's a required readings for chapter 6 and 7 from Zell books. So you should read them before you come to class. And of course, you can watch the lecture video for chapter 6 and 7, so you can have a better understanding. And then there are other resources that can be helpful for the course. And we don't have any assignments for here. And chapter 5, um, Monday lab session at 3 p.m. And then Thursday night, coding assignments are due for chapter 6 and 7. So you should submit them before at the beginning of the class. And that night, we're going to review the solution to the prior week's coding assignments, and then loop structures and booleans topics will be covered. And then we also have another lab session on Sunday morning at 9 a.m. because the next Monday is the holiday. Okay, so no lab session on Monday afternoon. You can join us the Sunday if you have any questions and comments. And Thursday night, there's a coding assignment due for chapter 8. And then we're going to talk about data collection, which is covered by chapter 11 in the Zell. And the regular expressions will be also another topic to be covered. And week 7, Monday lab session will be held at 3 to 4 p.m. And then Thursday night, assignments for chapter 11 and seventh chapter 11 are due. So it's the same chapters, but the different textbooks. So you should not be confused about them. Sometimes the students are confused about those because the same chapter, but one from Zell, another from Severance. And this Thursday night, we're going to talk about designing and implementing more complex programs and simulations here and design. Okay, now we are in the week 8. So same lab session at Monday at 3 p.m. And on June Thursday, you should submit your assignment for chapter 9. And this night, you're going to learn about how to create custom classes in Python, which is a more complex program, but it's very critical component in Python programming. So you should understand what object-oriented design, and then you can make yourself is more exposed to advanced level of Python programming by creating custom classes. And also, we'll cover about the Jupyter notebooks. Week 9, online lab section at 3 p.m. on Monday. And 2 assignments are due, Severance Chapter 14 and Jupyter Notebooks. And then we're going to cover this night about NumPy and Pandas, which are good Python libraries to handle the numeric values. And in week 10, you can join us on Monday on lab session at 3. And your coding assignment for NumPy Pandas should be submitted by 6 p.m. Right before the beginning of each class. And then this night on June 20th, we're going to talk about the Matplotlib, which is a Python library for data visualization. So you're going to learn about how to visualize data from the data sets. Okay, in week 11, online section on Monday, and July 27th, you should submit assignment for Matplotlib. And then This evening, there's no portion of the schedule this evening, and I guess Kevin, do we have a content for week 11 as well? Not sure about
Yeah.
that.
Thanks for that. Uh, Students will notice that once we got past week 4, we have this kind of under construction, and that's because Jana and I were reworking the schedule up until late on Friday, and this weekend was largely taken up by the graduation. So uh, some of the finer details of weeks 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12, uh, like what the readings are, links to the recordings, all that kind of stuff. They're coming soon, right? So, and of course, when we post them, we'll post an announcement as well. Now, here I can see that uh, for our class on Thursday, the 27th, I put in here that it would just be a lab, but we are going to meet and have a class where we review the solutions to the matplotlib um, uh, coding assignment, because I think there's a lot to be learned there, and that's a fun assignment. So we're definitely going to want to talk about that. So what we'll do is we'll just do that. We won't work on any new material for the week. So um, it probably should have said under topics there, instead of saying it's just an optional lab session, it probably should have said we're just going to review the solutions, and then we're going to have an even longer lab session at the end. My
Mhm.
bad for uh, it's a lot of content to get up in a short time. Back to you.
Okay, great. Thanks, Kevin. Okay, so 11, week 11, we're gonna review the assignment for Matplotlib. And the last week, week 12, last lab session on Monday afternoon at 3 p.m. And then there are no weekly assignments because you'll be working on the final project. And there will be no class contents for Thursday on August 3. Instead, we will hold an optional online lab session in class. So you can ask questions if you have any issues with the final project, or if you want us to take a look at your project, that'll be fine. You can bring your project to the class. So we're going to help you. And importantly, the deadline for final project is Friday, August 4th by 11:55 p.m. So make sure that you submit your final project as a one zipped file to the Canvas so the TA can the grade and give you the points for. Okay, so this is all the contents for 12 weeks, and I'll see you in class. Back to you, Kevin.
Uh, okay, good, 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 good. Well, let me share, and the last thing that we're going to do is we're going to review the syllabus. Now, uh, I'm going to try to limit my comments to highlights because I'm expecting you to read it, and Janet's expecting you to read it too. And you're responsible for having read every word and understanding all of it. But if I talk about it too, if I talk about it in too much detail, you probably won't be all that interested in reading every word. So I'm going to try to balance this so that your incentive to actually read it and understand every part is uh, not damaged by how much I talk about it now. Okay? All right, so let's look at the syllabus. Okay. Um, Pretty standard stuff. So the instructors, Jenna and I, the TA, to be announced, but hopefully soon. The distinction between 4 credit and 2 credit enrollment. Um, the only difference between taking this course for 4 credits and two is that you do the final project. And the final project is a fixed project that we've defined, and it's sort of like a big coding assignment, a big review like coding assignment that's um, it's as long as say two coding assignments or 2.25 coding assignments. It's a great way to review the work in the course. Okay, um, it's not worth half the credits for the course. Okay, uh, the amount of work is maybe mm, 20 20% of the course or something like that. 18% of the course, 22% of the course. So if you're trying to get good credits, okay, well, taking this for two is not a particularly good deal. Okay, taking it for four is an excellent deal. Okay, I say that the people who should take it for two are people who either can't afford to take four, or they're afraid they're going to use up too many of their credits, and they're not going to get to take all the other courses that they want to take. Okay, that's all fine. But if you're just trying to get a good deal for your effort, take it for four. And if you've already signed up for two, you can talk to your advisor and put the paperwork in. Just don't wait for week 12 to do that. Okay? Because taking this for 4 credits is a really good deal and a good experience. Okay? Classes Thursday from 6 to 8 online. These online labs sessions on Thursdays after class, average class isn't going to run for 2 hours. So the rest of the time and some time after, if it takes it, will be put in to helping people who want help. So if you have any kind of questions or you need help with your program, or programs, well, come to lab time and we work on them. And we have a little fun. We have some people come to lab time just to hang out, see what other people are asking about. Okay, the lab time's optional. Okay, we typically have some people who come to every lab time, and we have some people who never come to a lab time, and we have some people who come when they need it. Okay, you're welcome there. It's a good time. It's always a nice time for us to work directly with students on a more individual uh, basis. And it's probably my favorite part of teaching the course. Okay. Um, Office hours. We don't have any formal office hours, so if you need help, come to lab time. If you need to discuss something confidential, though, that you couldn't do at a lab time, uh, send us a request to set that up, and we'll arrange to meet with you individually on Zoom, and we'll take care of it. Uh, if you need to contact either Jenna or me or the TA, we don't want you to send email. We'd rather you to use our service desk help desk because we do a better job with those questions and requests. Okay, so help us help you by not using a regular email. Now, every once in a while, the service desk goes haywire, or people get so lost in trying to use it that they need emergency help. if you need emergency help, you can call me, but don't call me if you don't need emergency help. that's for uh, that's for when uh, your attempts to use the service desks are just all bollocksed up, and you need to, you know, send up a flare to get help. Okay. The catalog description of this class I'll leave for you to read, and the course description as well. It's the first course in programming with Python 3, and we're expecting you to go from being a person who's not an experienced Python programmer to one who is somebody who's like a kind of a late stage beginner or an early stage intermediate. Okay, and uh, look through this and you'll see the details of how we intend to achieve that. Okay, all right. A lot of hands-on things. Again, we're more interested in what you're able to do than your ability to memorize features and syntax and all those things. All right. Um, Course topics. Okay, so the course topics, those are all the things we just went through in the weekly schedule. And for the most part, they correspond to some chapter or chapters in the readings. Okay? Um, Learning outcomes. Well, let's look through those in a little detail. Understand the role that programming plays in information processing and management. Particularly, get really concrete ideas about how you'll use it. Okay? A lot of people come to our class, they've just been told they should, they should take this course, and they're not exactly sure what they're going to use programming for. Some people have a really concrete idea. Some people have already done some programming and they just want to become good Python programmers. Okay? Well, we've room for all of you. Identifying opportunities for the information worker to solve everyday work problem using programming. Well, that's kind of the other side of that same coin. To design, code, and test procedural programs in Python that make use of object-oriented classes provided by others. So the last thing that we're going to get, one of the last things we're learning how to do is how to create our own Python object-oriented classes. Before that, we're going to be using the ones that are built in, or the ones that are part of the Python standard library, or ones that Jenna and I created for your use. Then, towards the end, we're going to learn how to design, code, and test a simple object-oriented class in Python. So we're going to learn how to create our own classes and objects. And we want you to be able to use the PyCharm integrated development environment competently. One thing that isn't on this list of learning outcomes, the last three topics we have here, NumPy, Pandas, Matplotlib, these are three new topics that Jen and I are bringing into the course this summer and trying out with the expectation that they're going to be very popular. These are three things that you need to know in order to do well right off the bat in a data science course. Okay? These are not data science per se, they're kind of data science readiness skills. Okay? And it's occurred to us that they should be part of this course, and we're going to be working with you to um, um, to demonstrate that they're properly a part of the course, that we can deliver these three topics like all the rest of the topics, that the hands-on exercises and the tutorials are going to be appropriate for you. And then hopefully you'll come out of the course more ready to take a data science course than you would have been had you taken this previously. Now, we've adjusted the scoring on the assignments to make up for the fact that this is the first time out for these last three topics that we're going to do. For instance, provided that you do, so for these three topics, we have two assignments, right? And what we're doing with these coding assignments is that we're going to, provided that you hand these two assignments in, we're going to drop your two lowest coding assignment scores. So this new material that we're covering, that we're really excited about and we think you're really going to like, there's no way for you to lose a point on it. And there's a way for you to pick up points on this. Um, and again, I can't say enough about how excited we are about bringing this content to the course. Okay. Our textbooks, there are three. There's the Zell book. Uh, that's a that's a published book that you're going to have to buy. You can buy an electronic copy. I like the printed copy. It's pretty easy to get. You can get it from the bookstore, from Amazon, from the publisher. But that's one that you have to get. So get on that fast if you don't have it already. The Severance book is available free as an electronic book, and we recommend that you use it that way. You can buy a printed copy of it if you want to, but it's been offered for free. Uh, the McKinney book, which is the book that we're going to use for NumPy and Pandas and Matplotlib, those three final topics. Uh, that's available for free through the O'Reilly site. And again, we recommend that you use that. Uh, it's a way, I don't know what the McKinney book costs, but it's got to cost somewhere between 40 and $60 at least. Uh, it's a 600-page book. We're not going to cover the whole book, by the way. But uh, my recommendation, use the free copy of Severance, use the O'Reilly copy of McKinney, and buy the Zell book as soon as you possibly can. Um, Technology wise, we're expecting you to do the work on your own computer. I typically say laptop because that's what most people have these days. This is an online course. You can do as much with your desktop as you can do with your laptop. Some people do have issues, that is, say, if their desktop that they want to use is at work, that they always have to be at work in order to work on it. They always have to be at home to work on it. The nice thing about a laptop is it can go wherever you are. But it has got to be a modern computer that'll run a recent release of Windows 10, Windows 11, or Mac OS. Theoretically, you could use a Linux client computer for this, but neither Jenna nor I are in the position to support you on the Linux implementation of all the tools that we're going to be using. So if you're going to use a Linux computer, then you've got to be prepared to do a lot of support yourself. Okay, so If you're really convinced you want to do that, then talk to us and let us try to talk you out of it. Okay, that's all that we ask. Again, we want to be in a position to help you. Okay, we're going to install the Anaconda uh, uh, platform for data science. Anaconda is a package. Is a combination of a package manager for Python and a curated set of packages, Python packages. So we're going to be making use of that, and we're going to be making use of PyCharm Professional, which is a paid product that's available to us for free because we're at the university. Now there is a PyCharm Community Edition. Don't use that because it doesn't support everything that we're doing in the course. Okay, so do follow my tutorial and go and install PyCharm Professional because that's what we're going to need. The schedule, we've already walked through the schedule, but here's a link to the schedule. And when we change it, which is usually refining things or adding more detail, we'll make announcements in Canvas. Readings. We expect you to do the readings before class. Okay. We expect you to play the lectures before class. Okay. Now, some people said that, so I say this about the readings here, and then I go on to talk about this, uh, the lecture videos. Okay. Now, some of the readings and the lectures overlap each other. Like all the lectures about the Zell book overlap the readings. Okay. Um, I we leave it up to you to decide after you've sampled all these things which of these you're going to do. Okay. Most of the people in the course are graduate students, and graduate students have different learning styles. Okay. Some like to read, some like to play uh, video lectures. Okay. I like to think that the lectures add value beyond the readings. Okay. But you get to decide for yourself. Now, we have lectures that cover more than what's in the textbook, and they're all called Beyond the Textbook. Okay, play those for sure because there's no overlap between them and the reading. If you don't play the lecture, you won't see the material. Okay. Tutorial videos are available for most of the coding assignment exercises that you're going to be doing. And in general, it'll be me, and of course, in the new material, probably Jenna, but it will be one of us showing you how to do how to create a program, very much like the one that you have to do for the exercise. Okay, so there'll be no mystery about how one does these things. Oh, okay, so what some people do, people use them in all kinds of ways. People just play them and digest them, and then they go and they write their program. Some people try to write the program without playing the tutorial, then they go back and play the tutorial and see if there's anything they didn't think of themselves. Okay. Some people play the tutorial as they write the program. There's a lot of different styles that will work for this. But again, because we have these tutorials, there should be no kind of scratching your head and saying, well, how does a programmer solve a problem like this? Well, play the tutorial. We'll show you how to do that in action. Okay. Um, The coding assignments, you saw them on the weekly schedule. Um, we're going to expect you that each of them has a set of instructions. They typically have they have a description of the problem. They have sample output, which includes in a lot of cases sample input. Um, that gives you a lot of ideas about how to test the program after you wrote it. Those kinds of things. Um, we're going to show you the solutions. We're going to tell you, I'll show you our official solution on the day of class where we review them. Now, if you don't hand in your work until after you've seen the solution, it's going to look easy. Okay? These things are always easy if you haven't tried to do them on your own. Okay? So uh, we have a deal with the grading of these things that if you hand in your assignment on time and make a good faith effort on all parts, even if you don't get all the points available, we'll make sure that you get at least an 85 on the assignment. So we want everybody to try every part of the assignment and make a good faith effort and hand it in before class. Okay? If you don't, you can't get more than 84. Okay? Um it uh we made a lot of incentive for you to get it in on time. That's because we're going to be talking about this when we get to class. And of course, you haven't done it. What are you going to talk about? I mean, you can listen to other people, but you're you're not going to get the full experience out of the class. Okay. Um, the the final project is just a big coding assignment. Again, it's maybe 2.5 times one of our coding assignments, and it's sort of weighted to the things we do later in the course because they're kind of cumulative, right? And um, it's a good review. The parts of it are more interrelated than they are on the coding assignments, and it's meant to be like a little project that you would do on the job, okay? And to give you the confidence that you could do a little project like this on the job. Again, the final project is for people who are taking this for 4 credits. That's what we recommend that you do. It's up to you to decide whether you're taking it for 2 or 4. The policy the iSchool has on attendance is we're expecting you to attend all the classes. Do we really think that everybody will get to every class, that no emergency will come up, that no illness will happen? No, we don't. We think that maybe you'll miss one, okay, and you'll play the recording, okay? The key thing is, though, a substantial part of your grade is for participation, and literally almost all participation points are earned in class. So if you don't come to class, you're not going to get the participation points, and you're not going to get the real value out of the course. So come to class. And if there's an emergency and you can't, play the recording. Participation. So these are the things that you earn participation points for. Making a greetings post to the service desk during the first 2 weeks of the course. Introducing yourself by speaking during the first class. Making speaking contributions during class, typing in chat contributions during class, presenting your solution during class. So typically when we're reviewing the solution, one person from the group will uh, say, well, this is what I did, and this is how I think it's different or the same to the class solution or to the people who were in my breakout group. Okay, and then there's sometimes when we break out that we just want to get a report back from the group, and so if you present as the spokesperson for the group, then you earn points there too. And so at the end of the semester, I add up all the participation points, and then it gets graded on a curve, and the formula for that curve is a little bit lower down. Now, the next section in the mm, syllabus has all these rules related to grading. Okay, I didn't originally have these in my syllabus, but over time, students have misunderstood things, and then I've had to add things to the syllabus so that there's no misunderstanding. So now this part of the syllabus is sort of like longer than the rental contract for a rental car. Well, not really, but it's pretty long. So I'm just going to go through the highlights. I expect you to read it. There are iSchool and university policies regarding grading, so you should find those and understand them. Careful attention to detail is required. You're going to find that we're very picky about the details of what your program does and how you write it. Okay, and so pay attention to the details. If you're not as detail oriented as we're expecting you to be, you're going to lose points. Okay. Assignment resubmissions are not permitted after the assignment deadline. So if you do your assignment and you hand it in a couple days early and then you're talking to a friend and they go, oh, did you do such and such? And you go, oh crap, I didn't do that. Okay, well, if it's not due yet, just resubmit it. Okay, but once we reach the deadline, uh, I don't want people coming back and saying, oh, I forgot to do this, I forgot to do that. The deal that we have is if you make a good faith effort on all parts, you get at least 85. Well, if you forget something, you'll get an 85 on that. Worst case, that's not going to tank your grade. But we can't be grading these things over and over and over again. So that's why we have that rule. Deadline extensions must be requested before the deadline. How do you do that? You do that on our service desk. Uh, Deductions will be made for late submissions. So again, if you're late and you didn't get an extension, you can't really get more than 84. So hand anything in on time. Assignments submitted too late will not be graded. We have this provision to keep you from waiting till the end of the semester and hand everything in then. And it's just not feasible for us to grade them. If somebody discovers that they haven't handed in things and it's beyond the deadline that we say here, you can make a request for us to grade these things later than what we say here. And if it's feasible to do it, we'll try. There'll be late submissions, but we'll try. Grade adjustments will be limited to automatic rounding. So we get people who come back and go, oh, if I just got one more point on this assignment, then that would move me from an A minus to an A in this course. It's too late. Okay, all we're going to do is math, and we will, if you have like an 84.2, we're going to round that. That's going to be an 84. And if you have a 92.6, we're going to round that. That's going to be a 93, but that's it. You know, the fact that you're 1 point away, it's a sad story, but there's nothing to be done. Regrading requests made using our service desk will be given fair consideration. So, uh, there are times when for each assignment that you get back and we grade, there'll be a grading feedback form so you can see what we deducted and why. And if you think we missed something, well, ask us to regrade it by making a regrading request and we'll take another look. Extra credit opportunities are not available. Well, the only thing that's kind of an extra credit opportunity when you think of this is this a deal that we say that we're going to drop the two lowest of the coding assignment grades provided that you hand them all in. Okay, that's kind of like extra credit in the sense that uh, provided that you hand them all in, you can sort of improve your average. Uh, you can improve your grade on coding assignments. If they didn't go so well early on, will do well on the 13th and the 14th, and we'll be counting them instead of the ones that you tanked. Okay, but apart from that, no extra credit. It's just we haven't got the time to do it, and it's not fair to other students. The expected grade for assignment submissions that meet all expectations is 95. So each of the each of the assignments we have has exercises, and the majority of the exercises are characterized as regular. And if you get all the points for those, that'll add up to 95. Okay? There's always a challenge exercise that's hard. Okay? And we only give so much coaching on that could get you from 95 to 100. Okay? Coding assignment submissions that meet certain criteria are subject to a minimum score guarantee. That's the 85 deal. So to get that deal, you have to submit your work in a properly named and formatted file, and then you have to submit your work by the deadline and make a good faith effort on all parts. Okay? And the details are here. So here I say, provided that you submit all 15 coding assignments, we'll change that to 14. The lowest two um, scores will be dropped. Okay, and that's because we don't have three new coding assignments. NumPy and Pandas is one assignment because they're really closely interrelated, and Matplotlib is the other one. So we're dropping a 2 of 14, not 3 of 15. Your participation grade will be based upon participation points that you earn throughout the semester. The two biggest things uh, you can do during the first 2 weeks of the course. One is making your greetings post to the service desk. That will get you 10 points. And the other one is showing up to the first class and introducing yourself when it comes to be your turn. That'll get you 10 as well. The other things here will get you fewer points, but they add up because you can do them every week. And then at the end of the semester, add up all the points, so you have a particular number of points, and then there's a then there is a curve that is based upon how your participation points rank in the percentile of people in the class. Okay? So if you're in the top half of the class, you get a 90. If you're in the top of the class, you get 100. If you're in the top quarter of the class, you get a 95. If you earn fewer than 10 participation points, you get a 0. That's a disaster. You definitely don't want to do that. Because if you look down, um, at the percentage of your overall grade that's for participation, it's 10%. It's the difference between a 95 and an 85. So you definitely want to come to class and you want to participate. Um, Academic integrity policies and practices specific to the course. Um, you definitely need to read this. I talked about it when we talked about the highlights. You want to you want to do your own work. Okay, we do have some things that it's okay for you to to emulate or to use code. We have some starter files from some of the exercise. Well, we expect you to just turn around and submit them. Uh, we have tutorials. Uh, if you follow along with the tutorial and your code matches the tutorial code, we expect that. That's fine. But we don't want people to be copying each other's code. We don't want you to copy the solutions from a prior teaching of this. Um, a new thing that's come up is, can I use Chat GPT? And the answer to it is yes, but don't hand the code in. Okay, so if you want to ask Chat GPT questions and see answers or code and use them to influence your coding, fine. But if you hand in Chat GPT's code, well, that's an academic integrity violation, right? So we want people to collaborate and talk about things, but when it comes down to coding, we want you to sit down and type at your keyboard and type in your own code because we think that's how real programmers actually learn. Okay. And programming teachers have thought that for 50 years, right? This kind of thing where we may show you sample programs or tutorial programs, but the real learning is when you type in and write your own. This has been a major part of programming teaching for over 50 years, a long time. It's tried and true. So that's what we expect. Um, so the basis for determining the grade, what are the grade weights? Well, again, I recommend that you take this for 4 credits. 10% is the participation. The coding assignments are 45%, and the final project is 45%. If you take it for 2 credits, which is not what I recommend in terms of earning enough credits for your effort or um, uh, the 2 credits I recommend to people who to need to manage the amount of money they're spending or the amount of credits they're going to have left. Okay. If it's just a matter of getting a good education experience and a fair deal for your effort, go to 4 credits. Okay. So in the 2 credits, it's 10% for participation, 90% for the coding assignments. And then we have a table here about how we turn the number grades into the letter grades. Pretty much everybody at the school uses a table that looks, I think, exactly like this. Again, we're only going to do rounding. That's it. And if you're off by a point and you'd rather have an A plus than an A or an A minus than a B plus, well, unless the rounding is going to do it, you're out of luck. And then in the very end of the syllabus, we have all of these policies, okay? And the policies are kind of interesting because, on one hand, they should be the exact same in every syllabus that you see. Okay, so if you've read them before and you understand them before, well, then it's pretty simple. You understand them. But I just want to point out that these are super important things. Okay, so if you haven't read them or you're not sure you understand them, put time into reading them. Okay, they're really important things like what it takes to get an incomplete grade, what we expect for academic integrity, what are our expectations regarding uh, uh, inclusion in our social experience and how we're going to treat people and how you can expect to be treated, religious observances, uh, accessibility expectations. COVID 19, that's probably hanging around. Uh, be serious about your health. Okay, so all of these things, some of which refer to things you may need help with. Okay, feel free to talk to me or to Jenna if you need help with any of these things or you have questions. Okay. And again, the list we have here should be the list used to, provided that you've taken these courses before. So please do take the time to read the details in the syllabus because these things are important. You're responsible for knowing them. Um, I'll stop there. So, uh, as a way of wrapping up, I'm just going to say that I'm looking forward to seeing you on Thursday evening, May 18th. I think this is a super fun class, um, and I enjoy working with students. Somehow, maybe because I'm only teaching 2 courses in the summer and not 4, it's kind of extra fun for me in the summer. And maybe because some of my students aren't taking such a big load in the summer, it's extra fun for them. But it's usually a good time, and I really looking forward to kicking that off. So, having said that, I'm going to turn it over to Jenna for Jenna to wrap up, and then we're going to go.
Thanks, Kevin. Yeah, well, I don't have any other comments. Just want to see you in class on Thursday night, and then let's have fun together. Yeah. Oh,
Okay, so bye bye. We'll see you guys on Thursday.
bye.